Leeds United have just destroyed Chelsea. That is a result that I did not see coming, but I'm not going to lie, a lot of that is on Maresca. Too many changes, completely got the game plan wrong. Team selection, I'm absolutely baffled by it. I'm not going to lie. However, take nothing away from Leeds because they were absolutely insane. Daniel Farker tonight got it absolutely spot on. 3 at the back system with legs in midfield. Calvert-Lewin able to just run the channels all night. And that's the first time, I think, since the opening day of the season that Daniel Farker has played that system. But I'm not going to lie, Esteval, listen, he's only 18 years of age, and I'm not going to make this video about cussing Esteval. But tonight wasn't that great. Delap wasn't great. João Pedro, this Chelsea team have got bundles and bundles of talent, but they're not there just yet. To win a league title, you need to have a number 9 who's going to score you, 20 league goals. You need a back line that are going to be solid. Their midfield is world-class. Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Santos looks very, very good. Reece James, but tonight, no Caicedo, no Reece James, no Garnacho in the 11. Estavo hooked early. No Gusto in the 11. Cole Palmer returns. Jarrell Hatto, for me, has to start now. Reece James, of course, they got a big game at the weekend as well. But it's just too many changes. And now they have fallen down to 4th in the Premier League. It was only a couple of days ago we were talking about, can they mount a challenge for the title? But now they're 9 points away from Arsenal. Man City, of course, are the biggest threat. I'm not going to lie. The numbers don't lie on that. But I thought this Chelsea team tonight would show more. I thought they'd have more character. They put in a really, really good 10-men performance against Arsenal. And then they concede, in the opening 6 minutes from a set piece, who they have actually been pretty strong, both going forward and defending set pieces. But I'm fair play to Leeds United because that was one hell of a performance. They battered Chelsea on every single metric other than possession. XG, shots on target, big chances created, more corners. They deserve the win on every single level. Make sure you go down and drop a like on the video if you haven't already and let me know your thoughts. That would be fantastic. And make sure you also go down and hit this subscribe button as well. That'd be greatly appreciated. We're about 300 away from hitting 85,000. So hopefully we can hit that very, very soon. Now the lineup, like I said, I'm not going to lie. I don't get what this Chelsea thing's saying here. Cucurella for me, very, very, very good left back. Let's not get that twisted. He is a very good left back. Bijol and Tosin Adebayo and Chalobah. If these are your centre-backs, you aren't going to win a Premier League. At best, you challenge for top 4. Let's be brutally honest. They're not as good as the Arsenal centre-backs. They're not as good as the Palace centre-backs. They're not as good as Van der Ven and Romero. They're not as good as the Aston Villa centre-backs, in my opinion. And people might be saying, oh, you're just talking absolute nonsense. I don't think they are. Aston Villa have conceded less goals in the league than them. I prefer Concert to all of the Chelsea centre-backs. And I also prefer Pau Torres to all of the Chelsea centre-backs. At fullback, they are really good. Cucurella, Reece James, Gusto are good. Santos comes in. Of course, Caicedo sent off. Looking at the 11 that played against Arsenal, it's too many changes for Enzo Maresca. Against Arsenal, Pedro Neto started. Reece James started. Fofana started. Why is Fofana not starting this game? Unless it's for an injury issue, that must be the only reason. Was he injured? Was he injured? No. He wasn't even in the squad. Fofana should have started this game. Reece James should have started this game. Delap, I think that in terms of the 11 that played against Arsenal, they went with Fernandez in the 10, Reece James in central midfield, João Pedro up front, Esteval and Neto. Look at the difference in the 11s that played against Arsenal and the 11 that played against Leeds. It's far too many changes. The only changes acceptable is Caicedo. Fofana didn't play. Gusto didn't play, or didn't start, sorry. Reece James didn't start. Neto didn't start. You can't make 4 changes like that in a Premier League game when you're going away to Leeds United, who are a very tough team to play against at home. They've only lost 2 of their 7 games at home. They put in a decent performance last 20, 30 minutes against Manchester City, and they go out there, look at the stats. Before we get into the goals, and before we get into the talking points in this game, look at these stats, guys. 2.82 XG against 1.10. 17 shots to 14. 5 shots to 2. 2 big chances to 1. 1 big chance missed. Passing accuracy, Chelsea. I expected Chelsea to dominate possession, and I expect them to go out there and comfortably put in a good performance. But that in general was poor. Every single XG set play, XG open play, XG overall, non-penalty XG on target, shots out inside the box, shots outside the box, shots on target, shots off target, total shots. Every single metric, they deserve to win this game. And what makes it even more difficult for Chelsea fans is that's dropped them down to 14th. Not 14th, sorry, 4th. Which they are only, like, Liverpool right now drew to Sunderland. Liverpool are in a so-called crisis. They would have been equal on points with Chelsea tonight, and they'd only be 3 points off third. The fact that they are now 9 points away from the top, I don't think they're going to win the league. I do, however, think they are comfortably the third best team in the league. I do think they're better than Villa. They are on a rocky period. However, Villa have now won 4 in a row. And Chelsea have got to play Villa in the next, I think, 8 games. They play them. Their fixtures are, they've got Bournemouth away at the weekend. Now, Bournemouth are struggling. Then they've got Atalanta. Then they've got Everton, Cardiff. Newcastle and Villa are 2 really tough games. But let's be honest. They should be winning the next 4. Like, Bournemouth at the moment are in, they're struggling. They should beat Atalanta, although it's always tough to go and play in Italy. Everton at home and Cardiff away, they should beat both of those comfortably. After that, though, when you're playing Newcastle, Villa, and Bournemouth in 3 games in 10 days, that's going to be tough. That's going to be really, really tough for them. But they concede so early on from a set piece. 6 minutes on the clock, Chelsea are 1-0 down for a header. Chalobah doesn't mark him, and Bijol, the Slovenian centre-half, who looks an absolute giant of a man, goes and heads it in from 6 yards out. And I'm thinking, wow, what have we got here? Because they desperately needed to win tonight, Chelsea. Equally as much as Leeds need the points. But Elland Road was buzzing. They get 1-0. It's an incredible start for Leeds. They deserved it. They were fighting for each other. Stack whips in the ball. It's a really, really good delivery into a dangerous area. And then Bijol runs on, escapes the lap, then beats Chalobah to the header. Sanchez got no chance. It should have been 2-0 straight after that. Huge chance. Leeds be up in another corner. Everyone was so concentrated on Bijol, and I think it was Stack. One of them had a chance. Chelsea put a couple of moves together, don't really do anything, and then they make it 2-0. And it's that Japanese Tanaka scores a very, very good goal, and you're like 2-0 down at halftime. Like, they were struggling. Fair play to Maresca. He made a couple of changes to get Chelsea back into the game. But at that point, I thought the game was already gone. I thought it was done. I'm not going to lie. Like, I thought, Esteval, a lot of people are going to concentrate on him saying, he was brilliant against Barcelona, and he's not going to have a huge amount of consistency in his game. He's only 18, right? It's people getting on his back. To me, it's madness. He's 18 years of age. He's a top talent. But he needs to be treated exactly what he is. He's developing. He's nowhere near the finished article. Anyone getting on his case is madness. And they get back into it. Pedro Neto, I think, Chelsea's highest goal scorer this season now. 5 goals and 2 assists. Scored against Burnley, Wolves, Leeds, assist against Sunderland, a goal and assist against Forest, including that free kick. But he's playing him in a striker role now. He's predominantly a right winger, but he is playing him as more of a number 9 in a false 9 role. Whereas against Arsenal, he played João Pedro. So it's too many changes, man. They get back into it. It's a really good goal. And then Calvert-Lewin, what on earth are Chelsea doing? Gusto passes it to Tosin and the centre-back completely messes it up. He gets dispossessed, and then Calvert-Lewin, taps it in, and they go 3-1 up. And I'm like, at that point, wow. Cole Palmer's back for Chelsea. There are some positives in terms of players that got coming back. Caicedo will be back in 2 games' time, which they will be playing against Bournemouth, who are not even in the picture at the moment. There you go. Bournemouth are 14th. Results could go quite heavily against them this weekend. If they don't beat Bournemouth, and let's say Sunderland, Palace win, or Brighton win, or whoever comes up trumps, all of a sudden, questions will be asked about Enzo Maresca. And off the back of a really good performance against Arsenal, a big win against Barcelona, a comfortable win away to Burnley, a good win against Wolves, a good win against Spurs, they just have this sort of result in their game. They did it against Sunderland. They've done it tonight against Leeds. They also did it against Manchester United. They also did it against, I think it was Brighton. They've got too many up and down results in their system. They need to get rid of that. They need to get an elite number 9, an elite goalkeeper, because I don't think you're ever going to win a Premier League with Bijol and Tosin Adarabioyo as your centre-backs. I'm not going to lie, guys. But let me know your thoughts. Drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you soon. I'm out.